The Brownfields and Environmental Restoration Program, also known as the Cleanup Program, oversees various phases of investigation and cleanup under voluntary agreements or enforceable orders at nearly 4,000 sites. Sites vary in size from smaller properties located in urban areas to larger properties such as closed military bases. The cleanup of these properties provides opportunities for reuse of existing facilities, habitat, and open space restoration, and construction of cleaner, more sustainable businesses and communities. The Brownfields and Environmental Restoration Program is a core program within DTSC. The program is charged with restoring and safeguarding communities through the investigation and cleanup of contaminated properties and is committed to establishing and implementing protective and consistent cleanups and standards that serves as a model for California and the nation. Remedial actions are the steps taken to address a release of hazardous substances, including containment, chemical and physical treatment, or if needed, land use controls. Except where pressing circumstances exist, public input is sought prior to implementing a specific remediation plan. The cleanup program is comprised of 14 functional groups or branches, which are divided into direct cleanup, as well as support services such as geology and toxicology. The program also relies on support services provided by other DTSC programs that are discussed in other presentations. These include industrial hygiene, legal counsel, and public participation, to name a few. Within the program, teams comprised of direct cleanup and support services staff are formed to provide oversight at each project. The makeup of each team depends upon the specific needs of the project. Specialized teams are also formed to work on specific types of sites, areas, or issues. The size and reporting structure of the specialized team varies, but in general, they report to a branch chief within the program. Whether by a specialized or project team, staff oversight tasks can be divided into two categories: characterization and remedial actions. Characterization actions are the steps taken to define the nature and extent of contamination. This includes determining if there has been a release of hazardous substances to the environment and identifying actions to abate the impacts from a release. Remedial actions are the steps taken to clean up a contaminated property. The cleanup program is comprised of approximately 370 multidisciplinary technical staff who are engineers, scientists, geologists, toxicologists, and other professionals. The program's functions are illustrated here. Core cleanup branches with a white background, specialized branches with a yellow shaded background, and support branches with an orange shaded background. Within the program, teams comprised of scientists, engineers, geologists, toxicologists, and administrative personnel provide oversight at each site and facility. The makeup of each team depends upon the project-specific needs. DTSC's mission is to protect California's people and its environment. To ensure we achieve this goal, the cleanup program conducts activities to oversee the cleanup of contaminated properties. These properties may include a state response site, also known as an orphan site, where no responsible party has been identified to implement the necessary cleanup. It could also include a voluntary cleanup site, or a school and properties proposed for school construction. Superfund sites, which are listed on the National Priorities List, or Superfund lists, are the most contaminated sites in the nation, and hazardous substances present at these sites pose a significant threat to public health and the environment. DTSC also evaluates federal properties, including open and closed military facilities. To enhance the efforts of the Hazardous Waste Management Program, the cleanup program oversees corrective action at facilities permitted under the Federal Resources Conservation and Recovery Act, or RCRA, and state hazardous waste facility regulations. Gone are the days of finding a field of drums or properties such as this eyesore in the upper right languishing in our communities. This has been replaced by a vision of small urban sites that are returned to productive use and large areas being redeveloped to revitalize a community. The importance of protecting human health and the environment is now complemented by the restoration of communities and the elimination of blighted properties. The vision of the cleanup program is a California free of uncontrolled hazardous substances, which provides a healthy environment for all to enjoy. Most of the sites or facilities we are responsible for go through a process of problem definition, which begins with characterization of the site, solution identification, which is encompassed by the remedy selection process, which is then followed by implementation of the solution or remedy. This may include the design and construction of a remedy and potentially long-term stewardship. Through each of these steps, practices have been put in place to maintain transparency and solicit public input. These actions are described in site-specific public participation plans. Solutions or remedies may take decades to be fully implemented. When this is the case, long-term stewardship in the form of land use controls and/or operation and maintenance of a remedy may be required. When waste is left in place, long-term stewardship includes periodic reviews to assess the effectiveness of the remedy. As technology marches forward, some remedies will be replaced by better, more efficient processes. Also, as more becomes known about the toxicity of hazardous substances, additional work may be necessary to better protect the public. The majority of DTSC's cleanup, corrective actions, and long-term stewardship tasks are conducted by the direct cleanup branches. The direct cleanup is primarily performed by the Berkeley, Chatsworth, Cypress, Sacramento, and San Joaquin branches. The core cleanup responsibilities are as follows. Conduct cleanups at state response, also known as orphan sites. Oversee work by private parties, voluntary cleanups. Perform site screenings to identify and prioritize sites where remediation may be necessary. Oversee long-term operation and maintenance at Superfund sites. Oversee restoration of federal facilities, open and closed military bases, to return property to public use. The 5 core branches are the backbone of the program. The core programs conduct or oversee actions that span from characterization of hazards to remedy selection, design, construction, and operation. These branches monitor over 300 sites where land use controls prevent improper usage or activities that might result in exposure to the public. The Legacy Landfills Office is responsible for the oversight and long-term stewardship of 3 large and complex sites: the Stringfellow Superfund site, the BKK landfill, and the Casmelia disposal site. DTSC operates the remedies or ensures adequate work is completed by responsible parties at these former landfills. The Legacy Landfill branch operates the groundwater remedy for the Stringfellow site. This branch also oversees the long-term operation and maintenance to safely contain waste deposited at the BKK landfill. And finally, it protects the interests of the state and will eventually operate all cleanup systems necessary to address the Casmelia Resources hazardous waste facility. The Stringfellow remedy is directed at restoring a contaminated groundwater source and inhibits the migration of contaminants so that they do not reach drinking water sources. This branch directs the work of contractors who conduct the operation, maintenance, and monitoring required. For over a decade, DTSC performed the necessary operation and maintenance at the BKK landfill. DTSC identified generators of waste disposed at the landfill and took enforcement actions that resulted in private parties assuming responsibility for long-term stewardship of the site. At the Casmelia Resources site, DTSC provides technical and regulatory consultation to EPA. This consultation is directed at assuring the remedy selected conforms to state standards. The Santa Susana Field Laboratory Branch, another specialized branch, oversees the characterization of the former rocket engine test and nuclear research facility. This site is located in the Simi Hills area of Ventura County. The technical complexities and high level of community interest dictate that cleanup program staff meet regularly with a technical work group and conduct frequent public meetings. The responsible parties for the site are the Boeing Company, NASA, and the Department of Energy. The Santa Susana branch is responsible for the Santa Susana site, which is a 2,849-acre former rocket engine and nuclear research facility. Community concerns prompted the passage of a law that grants DTSC authority to oversee cleanup of both chemical and radioactive wastes. DTSC is committed to fully protecting the cleanup of chemical and radiologic contamination and maintains a site-specific web page. Community members mobilized and worked through the legislative process, resulting in passage of SB 990, which became effective on January 1, 2008. This statute authorizes DTSC to oversee both chemical and radioactive waste remediation and also specifies that the level of cleanup shall use the highest and most protective cleanup standards applicable to the rural residential land use designation. In December of 2010, DTSC entered into a consent decree with the U.S. Department of Energy and NASA, which requires this level of cleanup and establishes an accelerated approach to cleaning up low-level radiation and toxic chemical contamination. The school's evaluation and Brownfields outreach is another specialized branch. A series of events in the mid-1990s led to the passing of two laws, SB 162 and AB 387. These laws changed the education code to require any school district receiving state funds for building a new school or significantly expanding an existing school to conduct environmental assessments and, when necessary, cleanups. For state-funded construction, DTSC is acting as the regulatory oversight agency, and the school's evaluation and Brownfields outreach branch carries out these duties. The school's evaluation and Brownfields outreach branch has evaluated 2,500 school sites to date and has been instrumental in ensuring that there have been 22,000 new classrooms. Additionally, this branch conducts investigation and cleanup of brownfield sites, resulting in economic development and reinvestment in California through post-cleanup development and reuse. During the recent fiscal crisis, there was a marked decline in school sites that were evaluated, and the number of school projects dropped off dramatically. However, the Los Angeles Unified School District has recently identified 79 expansion or construction projects at existing school sites. The Exide Corrective Action and Data Management Branch oversees site characterization of the former secondary lead smelter facility as well as final closure of this former interim status facility. The site is located in the city of Vernon in Los Angeles County. There is high level of community interest that dictates that cleanup program staff meet with the advisory group bi-monthly and conduct quarterly public meetings. The Exide Corrective Action and Data Management Branch oversees the 15-acre former interim status secondary lead smelting facility undergoing final closure. The Exide facility, located in the city of Vernon, is characteristic of the heavy industrial nature of the surrounding land uses. Former interim status facility was never issued a permit and is undergoing final closure with DTSC oversight. Under a stipulation and order issued by DTSC in November 2014, corrective action for on-site soil, groundwater, and off-site non-residential areas are being completed on parallel paths. DTSC is committed to protecting the community during cleanup and closure and maintains a site-specific web page. The Exide Project Management and Field Operations Branch is part of the Exide Technologies Facility Contamination and Cleanup Program. The Exide Project Management and Field Operations Branch oversees the removal and remedial actions in the communities surrounding the Exide Technologies facility in the city of Vernon. Under the program, DTSC tests the soil for lead contamination in approximately 10,000 properties, including residences, schools, daycare centers, and parks within a 1.7-mile radius of the facility. The program will clean up contaminated soil at those properties with the highest levels and greatest potential of exposure. There are 4 support branches within the cleanup program. They are of equal importance, and the order presented here is randomly chosen. 3 of the 4 support branches, HERO, Geology, and Engineering, support the Hazardous Waste Management Program in addition to cleanup. The Human and Ecological Risk Office, or HERO, provides consultation, technical assistance, and training on toxicity of chemicals and the health risk of chemicals to human and ecological receptors. Toxicologists and HERO provide input into studies that yield valuable conclusions regarding chemical uptake and exposure pathways. 2 areas that are currently of interest are bioavailability of arsenic and the health impacts from soil vapor intrusion into residences. The HERO office provides consultation on site characterization and remediation, military base restoration and reuse, evaluation of public health risk at schools and open spaces. Many HERO staff are recognized experts in their fields, and HERO also provides assistance to other agencies. HERO also provides technical support to the Hazardous Waste Management Program and the Safer Consumer Products and Workplaces Program. Not surprisingly, toxicologists in HERO are consulted by other agencies such as the Office of Environmental Health Hazard Assessment and the Regional Water Quality Control Boards. HERO staff delivers research presentations on human health and ecological health risk assessments at local, national, and international professional society conferences. The DTSC public website includes a page with references, guidance, and updates regarding risk assessment. The site includes advisories on current issues such as indoor air and vapor intrusion. Now we will examine the other support services, beginning with the Geological Services Branch. The Geological Services Branch is referred to as GSB, and the individual units within it are referred to as Geological Services Units, or GSU. The Geologic Services Branch provides consultation on groundwater investigation and monitoring, plume modeling, and groundwater containment or remediation. 4 units provide assistance to all DTSC programs and other government agencies. Geologists in the Geological Services Branch are recognized for their expertise in groundwater investigations, groundwater monitoring, plume modeling, groundwater remediation, and risk characterization. Office of Geology staff publish guidance documents and technical papers, provide scientific expertise to other regulatory agencies, and to environmental practitioners. The Engineering and Special Projects Office, or ESPO, can assist in the design and construction of treatment systems, containment structures, and the assessment of remedy effectiveness. ESPO responsibilities includes consultation on engineering to the entire department, preparing cost estimates for facility closure and remedy completion, managing sites or grants specific on formerly used defense sites, often known as FUDs, corrective action under the RCRA grant, and management of the Whittier Narrows Operable Unit of San Gabriel Valley Superfund site. ESPO established the process to review and prepare cost-to-complete estimates for facility closure and site remediation. This process helps DTSC estimate future liabilities and to minimize the impact through adequately valued financial assurance mechanisms. ESPO provides technical management of a number of grants to ensure work is completed, documented, and costs reimbursed. When necessary, ESPO staff act as project manager for complex sites, such as the Whittier Narrows Operable Unit, a site they currently manage. The Grants and Program Support Branch provides administrative support to the cleanup program. The primary functions include the revolving loan fund, contract tracking, and budgetary planning. All of the staff in the branch are located in the Sacramento field office. The grant and program support responsibilities includes compiling required legislative reports, monitoring contract allocations and expenditures, coordinating budget and funding requests, providing administrative support to the program, maintaining the expenditure plan that allocates funding for remedial work, and tracking loan repayments. The branch is primarily responsible for the program's budget and legislative proposals, applying for grants, managing select federal grants, and establishing administrative policies for the program. In addition, this branch manages and administers the revolving loan fund and cleanup loans and environmental assistance to neighborhoods, or the CLEAN program. The branch tracks loans and subgrant disbursements and loan repayments, drafts loan and subgrant agreements, and complies with mandated reporting requirements. The branch, working with outreach staff, solicits application and develops criteria for selecting qualifying loan and subgrant recipients.